is concerned, Maharaja sent a standstill agreement duly signed to Pakistan and said that we want to remain independent, and whatever conditions were prevailing on 15th of August 1947 vis-a-vis Pakistan, or the areas which fell into the area now known as Pakistan, we will continue with that. A similar kind of standstill agreement was sent to India, but unfortunately Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, due to his dubious methods, did not sign that agreement and asked the Maharaja that he wants to have a further discussion in the matter. That discussion never took place till Indian Armed Forces entered the state of Jammu and Kashmir on 27th of October 1947 against the wishes of the people and occupied the state forcibly. The so-called instrument of accession, as has been said by Alistair Lamb, there is no such document in existence anywhere. It is a fabricated, a fraudulent document called as instrument of accession. But assuming that there was one, when it was accepted by Lord Mountbatten, there was a condition that as soon as law and order will prevail or it is restored, we will give the people the choice, the option to accede either to the India or to Pakistan. A similar kind of letter was written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru to Mr. Attlee, who was at that time Prime Minister of Britain, that we assure you that as soon as law and order is restored in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, we will allow the people, even if their decision goes against us, we will obey that decision, but we will give them that right of selecting whether they want to go to Pakistan or they want to go to India. This is in the correspondence between Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Liaquat Ali Khan also. But despite those commitments, despite those assurances, despite those promises, what India did, India took this Kashmir dispute to the Security Council of United Nations, alleging therein that they called them raiders. Pakistani raiders have infiltrated into the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They should be pushed back. Now, Security Council also received a cross complaint from Pakistan. Both the complaints were discussed, deliberated, and then a resolution was passed by the Security Council in the month of January, on 17th of January 1948, telling both the countries to stop this fighting, have a ceasefire. Then a group was constituted later, which was known as United Nations Commission for India and Pakistan. That commission came to India and Pakistan, and we know in the month of August 1948, that commission passed a resolution which was accepted both India and Pakistan, assuring the people of Jammu and Kashmir state that as soon as this fighting stops, there should be firstly a ceasefire, which was said in January 1948. It was reiterated in April, it was reiterated in August, and both the countries were told that you stop fighting, and people of Jammu and Kashmir were told in terms of that resolution that as soon as law and order is restored and the forces of India and Pakistan move out of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, the people of Jammu and Kashmir will be given their right of self-determination or right to choose between India and Pakistan by way of an independent, impartial plebiscite. Even in those days, a plebiscite administrator was appointed. But unfortunately, India did not keep its promise thereafter. But what was the maneuvering done thereafter? We had all Jammu and Kashmir National Conference. That National Conference passed a resolution in the month of November 1950, saying that we want to constitute a Constituent Assembly for purposes of making a constitution for the state. This was objected to by Pakistan, and the matter again went to Security Council. In the month of March 1951, Security Council passed a resolution, says that even if this constitution is made, this Constituent Assembly holds it a sitting, and after some time, a constitution is made, even that constitution is put into practice, but that in no case will be a substitute for the right of self-determination of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. The final disposition, it is stated in that resolution of March 1951, that the final disposition of the state has to take place in accordance with the wishes of the people, which have to be ascertained in an impartial and independent plebiscite or referendum. But again, the National Conference at that time headed by Sheikh Abdullah went on. They framed a constitution, put it in practice in the year 1957. But at that time again the Security Council passed another resolution, stating in that resolution in 1957 that even if you put this constitution into effect, Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir is not state, not Indian constitution, but that constitution will not be a substitute for the voice of the people of Jammu and Kashmir state, because they have been guaranteed a right of self-determination by the United Nations Security Council resolutions, which by then were 18 in number. But unfortunately, after the passing of that constitution in the month of January 1957 or November 1957, what happened? Elections were held, rigged elections. Even uncontested people were brought into assembly by Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad, because by then Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah had been put into prison. And by Bakshi Ghulam Muhammad, unopposed candidates, their number being more than 60 or 70, they were sent to the assembly for purpose of what? How could they decide about the future of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, when in Indian constitution itself there is a provision that insofar as international agreements are concerned, the parliament has the power to make law. But insofar as the state, there is a proviso added to Article 253 that insofar as state of Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, there can be no change with regard to the international these commitments, covenants, agreements, unless there is a government framed for the purpose. Government with plenary power of deciding as to whether any international commitment, any international covenant, any international agreement has to be cancelled or it has to be allowed to remain in force. When has that government been brought into effect in terms of proviso added to Article 253? If you see Indian Constitution, Article 253 says that Parliament has the power to pass any law with regard to any international covenant or international agreement or international whatever it is. But with regard to state of Jammu and Kashmir, by virtue of Constitution application of 1954, there is a proviso added that no, with regard to state of Jammu and Kashmir, Parliament has no such power. The international covenants remain there, international agreements remain there, international resolutions remain there. Unless you form a government, and that government should have a plenary power of deciding whether these international covenants or international resolutions, which are 18 in number, have to go or they have to be abided by. When has that government been brought into existence? These rigged elections are elections which have been held in the state of Jammu and Kashmir 1957. We don't bother about these observers or anybody else. We have said that these elections are not a substitute for the right of self-determination for the people of Jammu and Kashmir state. When elections are held here, next day government of India or their leaders or their ministers go out, tell the entire world, now there is 70% voting. And this 70% voting means that the people of Jammu and Kashmir state have integrated with India. How is that possible? You have a population of about more than 7.50 lakhs of Indian armed forces in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They have occupied every nook and corner of the state. You cannot move out because even on mere suspicion you will be killed. The Disturbed Areas Act are in force. The Enemy Agents Ordinance, which was enacted in the year 1947, is still in force in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which of course was meant for those who came from Pakistan in 1947 to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and the government of state said that they are the people who want to create some problem here. For them there was that Enemy Agents Ordinance. Normally an ordinance lapses after 6 months. Do you know this Enemy Agents Ordinance is still in force in the state of Jammu and Kashmir? In 2014, people have been booked under that act, under that ordinance, and they have been sentenced to life imprisonment. There is no right of appeal in terms of the ordinance against any conviction which is made by any court in terms of that ordinance. People have been sentenced to life imprisonment. They are serving that life imprisonment. There is no appeal provided in the act. Similarly, there is another act which has been again enacted in the year 1965. That is Prevention of Sabotages Act. In that act also, if somebody is convicted and punished to life imprisonment, he has no right of appeal. Apart from Ramir Penal Code, which we have a provision of law like Indian Penal Code, we have number of other laws which are applicable. TADA, POTA, whatever is there in the armory of Indian authorities, they apply to the state of Jammu and Kashmir by eroding Article 370. This Article 370 only authorized the Parliament to make laws with regard to 3 subjects. Nothing beyond that. But see, after 1950, all the laws, for example, Election Commission, Supreme Court, part that has been extended to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. This is almost a hollow article now in the Indian Constitution. There are no safeguards provided in terms of Article 370 to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Everything contained in that article has been eroded, absolutely eroded. Now, if this is the position, if you have such laws in the state of Jammu and Kashmir and you are with this mighty presence of Indian armed force in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, you are holding elections for what? If you are sure that people have acceded to India, then hold a referendum, hold a plebiscite. Why to go for these elections? Hold a referendum here, and if people are with you, will accept that decision of the people. But you are not doing that. You are for these farcical elections. You are saying that it is for road, it is for electricity, it is for employment, etc. That these governments come into existence. That is what the slogans are given at the time of elections. But immediately after the elections are over, no less than Sonia Gandhi goes to America and says there that people of Jammu and Kashmir state have given again their vote in favor of India. They are part of India. They are an integral part of India. How can this be allowed to happen? Our leaders, they don't want that there should be observers. We don't want there should be observers. What we want is that please honor your promise. Please honor the commitments which you have made, both inside and outside the parliament. Please honor the United Nations resolutions, which are 18 in number. You are saying that there is Simla agreement. Simla agreement may have been executed by Mr. Bhutto and Indira Gandhi. But does that mean that we will be kept hostage of Simla agreement? It is an agreement executed by two countries. Where were the people of Jammu and Kashmir state? They are not party to that Simla agreement. They are not party to Tashkent agreement. They are not party to any other agreement. How can you deprive these people of their right of self-determination? It is not only in these 18 resolutions of the Security Council. It is also, there are two covenants of 1966. Political covenant of 1966, which says that every person has a right of self-determination and has a right to form his own government. Apart from these two declarations, you have Vienna Declaration of 1993. In that you have reiterated what is contained in those other covenants of 1966. You have again said, whatever international covenants are in existence, read anyone, you will find in the beginning that every people has a right of self-determination. Every people has a right to form his own government. Every people have a right of political freedom. Where is that political freedom in the state of Jammu and Kashmir? Don't go by these people who are on the roads now. Today or tomorrow they will come out and say that it is only for water and other things. Please, if Mr. Maan, you are also interested to help the people of Jammu and Kashmir state, go to the parliament and tell the parliament that you have made promises with these people. Why you are not fulfilling those promises? Don't hold these farcical elections, fraudulent elections in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. What will come out of this? From 1957 you have been holding these elections in the state. In 2008 you said that more than 70% people came out and voted. But do you know what happened in 2008 and 2009 and 2010? The entire state was in revolt against the government of India. This Umar Abdullah was going to be hosted. Somebody else was going to come here. At that time, more than 124 young boys were killed. Nobody took notice of that. On our part, we are going to these judges, we are telling them that this is happening here. Today I had 2 writ petitions, habeas corpus petitions in the High Court before one of the respectable judges of this court. The one person has been arrested in June 2014. The other person has also been in jail from years together. Another order of detention has been passed against him in the month of August 2014 and he is languishing in jail. Do you know, sir, that in terms of case flow management, which have been, these rules which have been framed by the J&K High Court in pursuance of the judgment of the Supreme Court of 2005, a habeas corpus petition has to be decided within 48 hours. See today, 2 petitions before one of the judges, the man is in from June. The maximum period of detention is 3 months. If it is a detention for preventing him from indulging in this, in the activities which are prejudicial to the public order, he can be kept behind the bars for 3 months under this preventive law. Now he is there for the last 7 months. When I said today to a judge, sir, 3 months have since passed, he said, settle, they will produce record and I am posting this case in the next week. There was another matter. in which the man, Mushtaqul Islam, he is in jail from so many years now. He was detained, his order of detention was withdrawn. He was again detained on 14th of August 2014 for the activities which are prejudicial to the security of the state. An order which is prejudicial, which is passed for the activities which are prejudicial to the security of the state cannot live beyond 6 months. But if the case flow management says that you have to decide a habeas corpus petition within 48 hours, is it not binding on the judges of the High Court? What are you to tell them? Mr. Baron Ghosh was here. I told him one day, sir, this is the law. Please follow this law. He then framed into from 2005 till 2009 these case flow management rules were not framed by the J&K High Court. When framed, nobody is obeying them. It says decide a habeas corpus within 48 hours. Or at best, if somebody takes time for filing reply and rejoinder, it should be in any case, invariably. This is what is written in the Supreme Court order and in the case flow management rules. Invariably, that is necessarily it has to be decided within a period of 15 days. Where are those 15 days? Which case in our High Court has been decided within 15 days? Then this is law binding of the Supreme Court on this J&K High Court. Nobody is taking care in that. Now you are saying that we should highlight these problems. Yes, we have highlighted. In one of the cases where a boy was picked up by BSF, like what Kalra, who was picked up and thereafter his dead body was not even returned. Like him, there are people, scores of people, multitude of people, I should say multitude, not scores, who have been taken into custody and thereafter their whereabouts are not known. 10,000 people are missing in the state of J&K. There was one man who was taken into custody by BSF. After taking him into custody, his dead body was later recovered from a river. His father came, filed a complaint with the police. Police registered an FIR. FIR is registered. But there is no progress in the investigation. We bring the matter to the notice of the High Court. High Court monitors the investigation and ultimately one Gurdeep Singh, who was commandant BSF in that area in Sopore, he was found guilty. Now police forwards that case to Government of India for grant of sanction, because unless there is sanction, you cannot prosecute him. Government of India says, when Mr. Advani was at that time the Home Minister, he says in such cases we don't give consent. We don't give permission. We don't give sanction. So what you do with that? These things are brought to the notice of the Honorable High Court. Supreme Court, you see what has happened in the cases which were filed before the Supreme Court? Machine encounter, firstly filed here, thereafter in Supreme Court. What happened there? There are three boys, three cases are pending. One is Tufail Matu, another is Wamik Farooq, third is Zaid Farooq. Their parents are vigorously prosecuting those three cases. I cannot tell you how many times those cases have been brought for one reason or the other, either before the High Court or before the Supreme Court. From 2010, we are in 2014. The investigation is not complete. Closure reports were filed before the court of CGM Srinagar, who did not accept that. And that Umar Koyum.
FIR is not like.
FIR is, there is an inquiry conducted. They are found guilty, but there is no FIR registered. Mr. Maan, if you want the world to know about it, because I don't have any passport. You may have a passport, I don't have any one. Most of us have no passports. This Article 14 and 19 and 21, it may be in the Indian Constitution, but insofar as state of Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, there is a law of gender. Why my passport has not been issued? I applied in 2004, issue a passport to me. No, there are number of cases registered against. How does it matter? There are cases pending against you or these leaders also, but they get passport. They move out. Question is whether I have been convicted or anyone who is denied passport. See, sir, do you know what is the ground urged? Your father is in Pakistan, therefore will not grant you passport. Your cousin brother was a militant who was killed, but will not give you a passport. Where are those rights?
That's what I've said.
I am only saying that all these things are on the paper. Article 14, 19, 21, yes, on paper. But in practice there is nothing. In the state of Jammu and Kashmir, most of the parts are today disturbed areas. Disturbed areas means that anyone walking on the road, if he is suspected to be a militant, satisfaction is of that army personnel. He will kill him. Nobody will take him to task because there is impunity. This is in terms of Armed Forces Special Power Act. Now we have a state law, Disturbed Areas Act. In terms of Disturbed Areas Act, in terms of Armed Forces Special Power Act, this power can be exercised by Army, BSF, CRPF, ITBP, even Air Force, and many other agencies. In terms of Disturbed Areas Act of the state, J&K Disturbed Areas Act, a police constable can exercise the same powers. This is the position, sir. Then holding these elections, bringing some observers, then telling the world that this is a fair election. Thereafter, perhaps that will not work. We are not in favor of it. Insofar as Bar Association is concerned, we have repeatedly said. We have yesterday also issued a press statement that we want that people should stay away from these elections. We should not participate. But if somebody is forced in villages, you don't know what is the position. There is everywhere an army camp. There are army people. If they don't go for voting, I was reading today early in the morning, there were some people coming out from a polling station. Outside there was army. They were checking whether there is ink on their finger or not. They were also seeing as to whether with this ink there is some dust or not. If dust is, then he is a stone pelter. Even if he has cast his vote. Number of cases, hundreds of cases, thousands of cases against these people are pending in the courts, are pending investigation. So I was early in the morning, ETV Urdu is one channel from Hyderabad. There was one man saying from Maqbul Bhatt's village that, sir, we have come out for voting only because cases have been registered against us. They said if you cast your votes, we will see whether those cases will be withdrawn or not. But show that you have voted. He was saying that I have come out for voting only because police has assured us that your case will be withdrawn. This is the manipulation, this is the fabrication, this is the fraud. And in the name of this, world is being said that there are free and fair elections in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. 70% people have voted for this, for these people who are saying that we will run the government. Whatever the position, whatever the elections, whatever the government of India, whatever Mr. Narendra Modi may say, unless and until a plebiscite, an impartial and a free and fair plebiscite is held in the state of Jammu and Kashmir under the auspices of United Nations, this Kashmir dispute will not be settled. There will be no peace. You have to tell the world, there will be no peace in this subcontinent. Pakistan is a nuclear country, India is a nuclear country, both are nuclear countries. If you don't decide this or settle this issue in accordance with the wishes of the people, there is a possibility of a war, a nuclear war. There was a conference, if you are all watching that Capital Talk from Geo TV, these Punjabi people must be watching that. One, Najam Sethi was saying one day that there was a conference in Lahore or somewhere. They said that even if not all the atom bombs which are in their possession, only 2 or 3 are used. 2 or 3 are used. Whether they are used by India or they are used by Pakistan. Do you know what will happen? At least 100 crore people will die. Only 3. Pakistan is said to have 200 atom bombs. India is said to have more than 200 atom bombs. If both countries go for a war, what will happen? There will be a holocaust. Now, in order to stop that, it is better to tell both the countries, settle this issue in accordance with the wishes of the people. If they want to go to India, if the majority of the people want to go to India, nobody will tell them why you have taken this decision. But honor, what we tell is that please honor the sentiments, the wishes of the people. Because that is what is guaranteed to them. That is what is promised to them. Don't delay it. Don't think that you are a mighty country today. When God comes to destroy any nation or any country, He doesn't bother whether they have 200 or 250 atom bombs. They can destroy God can destroy any country anytime. The only thing which one has to see is whether that country is persisting with the suppression, with the oppression of the people. In the state of Jammu and Kashmir, what we have seen from 1947 is this oppression and suppression of the people is going on. Unchecked. There is no accountability. Nobody is fearing anyone. Whatever he wants to do, he will do that. So therefore, one is this, that in order to have peace in subcontinent and avoid the possibility of a nuclear war between two countries. Kashmir dispute should be decided at the earliest. This one thing. Second thing is, both countries are poor. India is poor, Pakistan is poor. There is more than, I was one day reading that more than 40% people of India sleep without taking the meals. 40% of the population of India sleep without taking their meals in the evening. Can't you save this money which you are otherwise spending on the purchase of these weapons from Israel now? Can't you save that money and spend on your own people? Similarly, Pakistan is also sailing in the same boat. They can also save this money, but per force they have to purchase arms because they have to maintain the balance. If India grows big and Pakistan is small, India will crush that country. So for maintaining that balance, Pakistan is also purchasing these weapons. They are also test firing these Shaheen and other things, as India is test firing every day. So there is a race, arms race, nuclear race between the two countries. But as I said, if India, which has promised plebiscite, abides by that promise, I think there will be end of all these tensions and escalations which are otherwise in the subcontinent, provided some sincere advice is given to India by some sincere people, and you being one of them. I think if they go by that, there will be no problem for anybody thereafter. Whether we choose that country or this country, this can be their solution for the problem. But you have to be sincere. I think I have spoken much. I am very grateful to Mr. Maan. He has come here along with his team. I narrated a few things only to tell you that what is our position, in which position we are here, what is happening to us every day. My friend has said about these two boys who were killed in this Navgam area. I cannot give you examples. In villages, people are killed and nobody knows who is killed and by whom. Namalum Banduk Bardar ne mara. Who is this Namalum Banduk Bardar? Lal Chowk mein dhamaka, udar dhamaka, idhar dhamaka. Nobody has investigated any matter to find out who is this Namalum Banduk Bardar. There are renegades who were previously, they were militants. One day Mr. Saxena, who was governor of Jammu and Kashmir state, said that if I cannot stop these guns of the militants, but I will try my utmost to turn the direction of the gun. That is how these renegades came into existence thereafter. What is the job of these renegades? To kill these militants. So these renegades, today you will see number of them, they have been given mandate. They are contesting elections. They are not being stopped these passports and other facilities. They are in the assembly. They are now the people's voice. And if you have those people in the assembly and other places, what do you expect from them? I think in 1996, Farooq Abdullah, I overheard it. When Kukapaya was there, he was saying that I will contest assembly elections. Farooq Abdullah said to his party men that if a man having thumb can go to assembly, why not we? Then he jumped into the fray. Because he said that if he goes to the assembly, we are nowhere. There are vested interests who don't want that this problem should be settled. Army has a vested interest, police has a vested interest, politicians have a vested interest. They want to carry on this problem for the people of Jammu and Kashmir state. Somebody very sincere has to be there who will take a decision, a bold decision, that yes, this we will settle, we will give them their right, and this is what is contained in Article 253 of the Constitution of India. Article 370, it's a hoax now, today, as of today. Everything has been extended to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. One chief minister was there, he was told if you apply this, extend this TADA, you will be made chief minister. After some days, when his brother-in-law was removed, he was made chief minister. Immediately on his becoming chief minister, he extended Disturbed Areas Act as also TADA to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. In 1997, POTA was extended. At that time, that brother-in-law was there. He did that for their vested interest. They have no